What is going on, everyone? This is Ninja Geek here, bringing you an MW3 gameplay, and the reason for that is because we are going to discuss the 5 worst things within Call of Duty Ghosts here. So for today, I have 2 videos of MW3. We're going to play a little team deathmatch, I think, in both of them. One of them is on, obviously, Terminal, and the next one is going to be on Mission using the CM901. I just started using this gun. It is actually a pretty decent gun here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the backdrop for this gameplay, and we're going to discuss the 5 first things. Now, this list was kind of easy to make because I don't like Modern Warfare 3, along with a lot of other people that thought there was a lot of things wrong with the game. But sometimes it would be like a match between which ones I would actually want to pick over other ones because they're worth more than 5 things. But we're going to obviously keep it down to 5 with the 5 worst things within Modern Warfare 3. So anyway, here we go. We're going to start down with number 5 being not the worst thing, and number 1 being the absolute worst thing within Modern Warfare 3. So here we go. Number 5 is going to be the maps and the color scheme. Now, the reason it doesn't really look that way now is because I obviously put color correction over it, but between Modern Warfare 3 and Ghosts, they both have terrible color schemes, and I guess you could say the maps too. I guess I put color schemes in with the maps are because the maps, like, some of the maps are okay, but they weren't like the best, like when Infinity Ward used to be Infinity Ward. So the maps aren't that great, and the color scheme on the maps isn't that great either. It's just you know, you got it's all green, hazy looking, and it looks really disgusting. And I don't know why they did that. At least, like in Black Ops 2, the colors looked more vibrant and stuff like that. So definitely, it helps you see and helps you play a little better when the color scheme is a little different. It happens within Ghosts too. Don't get me wrong. It's just it started with this game at first. So anyway, now let's move on to number 4, which is the perk balance. I honestly had to really pick hard between number 4 and number 3, but I chose perk balance number 4 because it was only 2 perks that I thought were overpowered that you could use, which are Blind Eye and Assassin. There probably are other perk combinations, but Blind Eye and Assassin, oh my god, you could have Blind Eye and Assassin on in one class, sit in a corner. That would make you immune to sentry guns, anything in air support, anything on the ground. It was so overpowered you could have them together. Now, you would get rid of the ability to reload faster and to swap weapons faster and stuff like that, but putting those together was just a wrong move. They should have been in the same tier, you know, or something else. I don't know how you would fix that, maybe just making them in different tiers, but that could have definitely been fixed, and that's why it's number 4, and it just made the game unplayable because all people would do is sit in corners because there was so much air support being called in that people would just put on their Blind Eye and Assassin class, and there you go. You have the overpowered perk balance, as we like to call it. So getting on to number 3, which I made above number 4, is the gun balance, and the reason I put it over 4 is because of the ACR. Now, I would say the MP7, but there are a lot of other SMGs that people use, but back when Modern Warfare 3 was first out in its prime, the MP7 was the gun to use, and the ACR, I mean, the ACR is still the gun that everyone uses, but the MP7 was the gun and the ACR, so you got both of those. And it just makes the game, you know, a little less fun, I guess you could say, because it, I mean, not to get me wrong, that this game can be fun at some points in time. Like, if you're playing and you're having a good time, it can be fun getting there towards those points. Like, you'll see me running around in this game with a CM901. I do okay. I don't, you know, do the best, but I have a good score in this game, and I had a little fun using a different gun other than always the ACR. So, you know, because all the time it's like, oh, Modern Warfare 3 gameplay, let's use an ACR. And not to get me wrong, like, if you use an ACR, I'm not going to say that you're a bad person or you suck at the game or why use that or whatever, but people use the ACR because it is a good weapon, I guess you could say. And it's like, well, what? I really don't know how to describe how well it is against all the other weapons, because here you got the CM901, a gun that has a little more recoil but a little more damage, and people don't want that. The ACR has barely any recoil, it has medium damage, and the iron sights are perfect. So what do you get more than that? It's like nothing else competes with the ACR, and so there you have it. The gun balance is just bad. Now, I'm not saying that the other guns are bad. Like, I'm not saying that the whole complete list, like snipers, or I mean, snipers are kind of overpowered in Infinity Ward games anyway, but here we are switching on to the mission game, also using the CM901. But yeah, so I'm not saying that all the other guns are overpowered. I mean, snipers, like I said, are kind of in Infinity Ward games, but you know, LMGs are fine, shotguns are fine. Actually, the shotguns are actually pretty decent within this game. You know, sometimes with that Spaz 12, I hit someone like 2 times and they don't die, and you know, I'm shooting them at a pretty long distance, and then sometimes I shoot them from like across the map and I get them in one hit. So it's like completely random with the shotguns, but that's how shotguns should be, and that gun balance is good. But I'm talking about assault rifles mainly, because the ACR deemed its power over all the other assault rifles, and that's what made the game poor, because every map that you went into, someone would be using the ACR, and not just someone, like a whole team basically using it. Either that or they'd be sniping because they like to snipe. But anyway, that was a long number 3. Let's get into number 2 and number 1. Number 2 being the spawn system. Now, the spawn system within this game is when I first realized that the spawn system was bad. Like, the spawn system in Black Ops 1, or all through Call of Duty until this point, were pretty good. If you were playing Domination, you would spawn at your flag, and it would be, basically the maps would be set up where you would spawn on one side, the other team would spawn on the other side, and you would have a big fight in the middle, and then you would keep spawning on your side. That's basically not how it works within Modern Warfare 3. Within Modern Warfare 3, you basically, it's like a free-for-all, I guess you could say. You spawn anywhere on the map where they want you to, and it's just like you run around everywhere, and it's just so chaotic that when you do that, the spawns are really bad. Now, the spawn system in Black Ops 2, I think, competes with the spawn system in Modern Warfare 3. Like, they're both pretty bad, and the spawn system in Ghosts is kind of similar, but ever since Modern Warfare 3, that's the reason why I'm putting it in this game, is because it was the game that first started with the horrible spawns. People, even in Domination, you don't get a set area. Like, if I have the C flag, and let's say I have C and B, and they have A, they're not always going to be at A. You don't know that. I mean, most of the times, like 80% of the chance in this game, out of 100, they'll be at the A flag, because that's the only flag that they have, and you might think that, but they spawn them in totally different places. So if they're at the A flag too long, they'll start spawning them at the C flag, and they'll start spawning them at the B flag, and that's the whole point of the bad spawn system, where you just don't know where they're going to spawn, and it just makes the game a little less playable and fun. And especially, another spawning problem that I have, especially within this game, is, you know, you'll spawn, and you'll die, and then you'll spawn again and just die, like, and then you'll see yourself get killed and instantly spawn and get killed again. It just doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. You know, it's just, I don't know what they were thinking when they went through with this spawn system. But anyway, let's get into number 1, which we all know. It was the opposite of what it is for Call of Duty Ghosts, for my best thing in Call of Duty Ghosts. Number 1 is the number 1 is death streaks. There are death streaks within this game, even though, and they lied to us that there would be, you know, because they said that there wasn't going to be, and everyone was kind of excited for it, and it was just like a big thing back then. It's like, oh no, death streaks, and then we get, you know, Final Stand. They lied to us. So, you know, Robert Bowling, remember that? Yeah, and then he quit and stuff like that. I just remember that like it was yesterday when that happened, because people were hating on the game because they were promised no death streaks, and the death streaks got worse in this game than Modern Warfare 2. I mean, I know Modern Warfare 2 had Painkiller, you know, Painkiller was terrible. Then you've got Copycat, wasn't that bad, but in this game you've got, what is it, Dead Man's Hand, Final Stand. Those are way worse than Painkiller. I mean, Painkiller was already bad enough, and then you got the stupid ones like Juiced, which Juiced is, I still think that one's overpowered. I just use Juiced all the time because that's the only one that I don't have to worry about going like on my butthole on the ground and like shooting at the other guys and stuff like that. It's the only one that I don't have to worry about that. But anyway, death streaks are my main problem with this game. The worst thing about Modern Warfare 3, and there's a ton of other things about Modern Warfare 3 that I don't like as well, but you know, they can't all be included in here. But I hope you enjoy me getting that final kill cam with the CM901, red dot, and kick I think I had on there. But I'll see you on my next upload. I'm Ninja Geek. I'm out. Peace.